Hey guys, John here. Today we are checking out this little guy from Blackstar Amplification, the Beam Mini. Now this thing is absolutely insane, especially considering the price, which is only 169 euros. And some of my fellow YouTubers and friends were raving about this thing, so I was interested in trying it out. And now that I've tried it out, I'm absolutely blown away. This thing is so cool. So in this video, we're going to explore it, have some fun, and see what this thing is capable of. And this is a little tone that I've dialed in myself on the unit. Alright, for this video I'm holding my Vola guitars, the Keene machine by the way, with Fishman Fluent's modern pickups in it, going straight into the Blackstar Beam Mini for all the tones. By the way, massive thanks to the folks at Blackstar Amplification for sending this over and for sponsoring this video, but of course, as always, all thoughts and opinions are 100% my own. But that was a great tone, that was a patch that I built myself. We'll take a look at that patch in a minute as well. But as we look at the speaker, it looks like, you know, a Bluetooth speaker, which it is. You can listen to music to it and stuff. The speakers in this thing sound really nice. And it's funny, it's very small, but the stereo image sounds really wide, which is cool. That's something that they did work on specifically to make it sound massive in the room. And yeah, this thing has way more low end and oomph than you'd expect from such a small speaker. But at the core of it, it's basically a guitar amplifier with amp modeling, cab modeling, effects and all that good stuff, but it does some really cool additional things as well. It loads NAM captures, which is kind of insane. Now again, you can also listen to your own music via Bluetooth. You can connect this to your phone, your tablet or whatever. And that process is just very easy. For me, it has been effortless so far to connect it to my phone. Sometimes with these kinds of devices, it can be a little bit tricky to connect to your phone. Not with this one, it was really easy. With a device like this, if you're going to use it for some jamming or practice or whatever, you don't want to deal with something that is a hassle to connect. Luckily, it's not an issue with this speaker. Now, of course, it's a wireless speaker with a built-in battery. And according to Blackstar, it should last around 18 hours or so, which is really wonderful. So you can take this to the beach, take this wherever, and it will last a very long time. So again, it's an amp and effect modeler that also loads NAM profiles, like what the hell. You can load a bunch of effects in front and after the amplifier. You can store presets, you can download presets, and of course you can edit presets as well with the phone app, which we'll take a look at later in this video. You don't need the app, by the way. You can also just use this speaker with the controls up top. We'll take a look at those in a minute as well. But one thing that I like a lot about this thing especially is the fact that it has USB connectivity. On the back here, there's a USB port, a USB-C port that I've connected to my computer right now, and I'm recording all the tones in this video through the USB out, so you can actually use this as your audio interface. Sounds really, really awesome. So I'm recording everything direct, okay, for this video. Now, the cool thing about that is that if you have a laptop, for example, if you're going to record somewhere, record a demo at an Airbnb, for example, you don't need to bring some speakers or a headphone per se and a separate audio interface. You just bring this speaker along with your laptop, and this is your audio interface. You can record your guitar direct with this, even a dry DI track, as well as the stereo processed signal. So I love that a lot. It's going to be difficult to translate onto the video how this thing sounds in the room, but just for, you know, the sake of this video, I'll play a riff and I'll use one of the mics that's on my camera so you can kind of hear how it sounds in the room as well. Yeah, in the room, it sounds really good. It doesn't sound like a speaker this big. I don't know how they do that stuff. I'm not very technical, but I'm blown away by how massive it sounds in the room for sure. Anyway, let's take a look at the speaker itself in terms of the controls. Over here we have the power button as well as the Bluetooth button. Of course, you can use the Bluetooth button to connect it to your device, and with the power button you can turn it off or on. With this big rotary control over here, you can tweak the parameter that you're adjusting, and the parameter that you're adjusting can be selected over here. So for example, if we click on this one, this is the volume knob. We can change the volume with this rotary control. We also have an effects knob. I think this controls the wetness or dryness of the effects. We also have this EQ knob over here. I think this is basically the treble control of the amplifier, so it controls the brightness. Let's just try that. Yeah, and with this white light over here, or this beam, you can sort of see, you know, where the parameter is. So this is maxed out, as you can see. So the light is over here, and then the light is over here when it's, you know, set to a lower setting. You can adjust the gain. Let's try that as well. Okay, this is a very high gain amplifier, so we're not going to use low gain. And of course the patch control, so you can store, I think, 5 patches on the speaker itself. Let's select a different patch. So this is one of the built-in presets. Let's try another one. So this is the clean patch that is loaded in here. That's a nice clean tone. Let's try the crunch tone. So that's like a broken up crunch. And let's try the next one. That's like a crunch with a little delay. So that's a nice feature. Just store your favorite presets onto here and take them with you, and you don't even need to connect your phone. But obviously, it's quite easy to connect your phone. Over here is where the input is, so you connect your guitar in here. And that's it in terms of the connectivity. So there's not a whole lot of ins and outs and everything. Now we're going to take a look at the phone app, because this is where the magic happens. This is where you can tweak your tones. This is what the phone app looks like. It's a nice interface, and it's very easy to use, right? To change a parameter, just click on the control and swipe it up or down, you know, to add more or less of that parameter. So of course you can select presets. Over here, I'm in the patches screen, right? On device, you can see the 5 presets that are on the device itself. So right now we're on the riff delay preset. We can even do a little heart there if we like the preset a lot, to mark it as a favorite. For patches, these are the patches that are available on your phone. This is the preset that I made, which I was playing earlier in this video, that heavy tone. I was using this Ampton 6L6 amplifier, which is based on a PV5150, obviously. Now, as mentioned, if you want to tweak a parameter, just click the control and swipe it up or down, right? So pretty effortless. So we have some amp models built in, obviously. The Ampton models are amps based on amps from other brands, like this PV60, 6505 or 5150, for example. We also have this Ampton Rec, which is based on a dual rectifier. We can try that in a minute as well. And then we have a bunch of Blackstar amplifiers as well, which are the St. James, the Artisan, stuff like that, right? Now, we even have an acoustic preamp for if you want to use your acoustic guitar, and some bass amps, right? So it's pretty versatile. This is the Tone3000 thing at the bottom of the screen here. That's where you can choose from thousands of NAM captures, full rigs, so with the cab built in, okay? No messing around with separate IRs and stuff. Now, of course, we also have cab rig built in, which is, you know, Blackstar's cab simulator software, where we can choose a bunch of different cabinets. So we have some 212s and some 412s. And of course, you can change the mic type or have the in the room sound, which sounds a bit more massive than a single mic. We can have room ambience going on as well, medium, small, large, and dialing the amount of room. So that is quite nice. So you can really tweak the sound to your liking even further there. There's not a whole lot of options in terms of cabs. It's like 6 different cabs and a bunch of different mics. I've found that the in the room sounds the best for me, but it's good to know that this is there as well. Just to have some fun, let's go ahead and try some of the amps. Let's start with the St. James 6L6 on this default setting. Let's see how that sounds. So that's obviously a clean amp with a bright switch, which is nice. Now, the Blackstar amps have this ISF control, which lets you blend between a USA and a British sound. That is quite cool, just as on the real Blackstar amplifiers. Let's bump up the treble a little bit, and then we're starting with ISF at, let's say, 9 o'clock-ish. And let me raise it up. I assume you can hear that. So to the left, it's more British sounding, I think, and to the right, it's more American sounding. So that's a cool way to tweak your tone. It's a little bit loud. Let's lower the volume a little bit. All right, let's try another one. So this is a nice clean tone. Let's go for the Ampton Twin, which obviously is like a Fender. Sounds really nice and warm and compressed. Love it. Of course, we have some post effects, which we'll try out in a bit. Let's start doing some crunchy stuff. Let's go to this St. James EL34. With the bright on for some nice bite. That's cool. Let's lower the ISF. So yeah, so the mid-range character really changes with that ISF control, right? Let's do one more crunchy amp. Let's go for the HT Club 50 Crunch. Oh, I like that a lot. That's nice. Very cool. Finally, let's go to some high gain stuff. Let's try the Series 1 100. By the way, I am noticing that my guitar can use a tune-up. So if we go to the menu, click on the tuner, we can now tune the guitar. It's not the most accurate tuner that I've ever tried, but it works. All right. Now let's try the rectifier, because we all love rectifiers here, right? And if it's a little bit dark, just raise the treble. You get the point. Some really nice amp models in here that I'm enjoying a lot, right? Now let's try some effects and then go to the NAM stuff. So for the pre-effects, we have a noise gate, which is nice for that, you know, hiss removal. We have a couple different versions. We have a noise reducer as well as a gate. Then over here, we have some other effects that we can choose from, like an auto wah. Let's lower the sensitivity. That is nice. Let's try the envelope filter. Cool. Compressors, so that's, you know, useful for clean tones and stuff. Let's turn this effect off and then go to the drive pedals. So if we want to tighten up this tone, we can add the TS drive, which obviously is like a tube screamer. Very cool. A bunch of drive options here. Let's try something crazy. Octave fuzz. So there's some really nice stuff in here. Rodent, a rat, stuff like that. A lot of drive and dirt boxes. Cool, huh? So those are the pre-effects. By the way, you can view the entire signal chain by going to this icon over here. And this allows you to see the signal flow and go to the desired effect. So let's go to this first post effect, which is a chorus. For a chorus type effect, I'd like to use a clean tone. So let's go back to device and do the full clean. And let's try the chorus. That's quite nice, actually. Let's try the vibrato. Very nice. Let's try something else. Let's try the rotary. I like that a lot. Let's leave that on because it's nice. Let's go to the delay section where we have some options. Shimmer delay, let's try that. Nice and dreamy. Let's do the tape echo. So it defaults with the effect on. I have to get used to that. So yeah, let's go to the reverb. Let's do hall. Let's do cathedral. So those are the effects. Nice. Now let's do the Tone3000 thing, okay? Let's go back to my heavy patch. And rather than having this amp, let's go to this section over here. It's so easy to load up these tones. Just click on the Tone3000 control and we're there, right? Now over here we have a bunch of trending options, so very popular tones. We might stick with those because there are thousands of tones on here. Basically, if you're not aware of what NAM is, it's an open source software that lets people capture their amplifiers. So these are sounds from people's own amps that they've uploaded on here. These are the full rigs with cab sims. Let's try this metalcore heaven sound. Click on the download button and it should start to download. So this is the tone. For some sounds, people will have multiple speaker options and stuff. For this tone, there's only one option, but that sounds pretty good, right? Now, one thing to note is that with NAM captures, you can't have any boost pedals up front, just a noise gate, but you do get access to the post effects, okay? Let's try another tone. So let's do the Blackstar Series 1. Okay, let's try that. It's fitting for this video. So this is by Blackstar Amps, so I guess they made this one themselves. And you have a bunch of different options. It's a bit more upfront sounding. You get the point, right? Let's do one more. Let's do a bit more of a low gain tone. So the Marshall JMP50 Lead Plexi. So endless possibilities there. I think that's a good thing because it allows you to find a lot of different tones, but it can also be a bit of a rabbit hole. For me, if I were to use this thing for myself, I would just stick with the built-in amp models because they're good and there's enough versatility in there anyway. You can get great clean tones, crunch tones, high gain tones, and everything in between and various shades as well. Now, if that wasn't enough, there are also backing tracks in here. Let's try one. So those are backing tracks from Elevated Jam Tracks from Tom, really great guy. There's even guitar lessons in here, drum loops, etc. So you can really do a lot with this thing, okay? If you're just starting out playing guitar and you want to learn some stuff, you can even do a lot of that on here. In the menu, we can also update the firmware, again, the tuner. We have some audio settings for the USB recording level, for example, which is really handy. I have it set low because I didn't want to clip the computer there. You can adjust a bunch of things in here, which is nice. We have a metronome, power save mode, and stuff like that, which is neat. You can save your presets. There's a cloud here as well, so a community section where people upload their patches. So it's a wonderful, wonderful platform, to be honest. And I should also mention that later this year, they're going to add moises. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but that means that you get stem separation as well. So listen to music, turn off the guitars or turn off the drums or whatever, which is a really cool feature, but that's not available yet. It will be available later this year, I think around August or so. So that's good to know. And I'm very impressed. I'm really impressed. I think this thing is awesome. And for 169 euros, this is a no-brainer. Okay, seriously. It's not a lot of money, but you get a great amplifier for the money. Take it along with you, put it on your, table with your TV, if you want to jam some quick tones. Take this along with your laptop for recording yourself, for listening to music and stuff on your laptop or whatever. The possibilities are endless. If you want to check one of these out, check out my affiliate links below for Tone1 and Sweetwater. I'd really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below because I'd love to know your thoughts. Also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you soon. Cheers, guys.